So I've got my umbrella, which I think I might need, and my softbox, which I probably will need, but definitely will need this, some red fabric, absolutely essential for this shoot. Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey and you're watching Adorama TV, brought to you by Adorama, the camera store that's got everything for us photographers. And today I'm really excited. I'm doing a full-length active portrait right here in my small home studio. And by small, it is fairly small. It is 15 feet across, of which maybe 12 feet is actual usable space. So what's that, about 3.5 meters, give or take. In that space, I've got to do a full-length portrait plus space above and below my model. And here's the tricky bit, I've got to light it evenly from my model's eyes to her feet. Now that will take some doing, but I'll go through all of the steps in this video. Now whilst I'm doing that and setting a few things up, you should be clicking on the subscribe button so you don't miss a video, and the bell icon so you get notifications. We have new videos on Adorama TV pretty much every single day. I've got the feeling I've got a cold coming on, so it'll be interesting to see whether my voice holds up through this video. In the meantime, I'm going to set these lights up. Let's get a model in. Let's get shooting. So to help me out today, I've got the amazing Chloe. Chloe is going to be the model for this shoot, but really we should start by talking about the lens, because to get a full-length portrait in, I really have to use a wide-angle lens, and that comes with some consequences. The first one is depth of field. I'm going to get a big depth of field with a wide-angle lens. If you're looking for a shallow depth of field picture, this isn't the technique for you. But in fact, a good depth of field is what I actually want. Next, I'm going to get everything in this shot, so things that I don't want to be recorded, like the heaters and the plug sockets. There will be a little bit of Photoshop, and we'll get to that at the end. Let's just take a test shot here right now and see what we get. Okay, Chloe, I'm going to use my lens at 12mm, which back here, yep, that actually works about right. And I get a perfectly fine shot. Nothing wrong with that at all. Another thing to consider when you're really close with a wide-angle lens to your subject is the height at which you work. Now, normally when you're taking a portrait, you'll be roughly the same eye height as your subject. But if you're doing a full-length picture, think about this a little bit differently. Let me show you what I mean. So if I step back over here and I take a full-length picture of Chloe, framing her up in the middle of the frame, if you have a look at the walls of my studio, you can see that they're actually converging slightly. And of course, that means that Chloe is doing the same thing too. Anything closer to your camera will appear larger, and anything further away, like Chloe's feet, will appear smaller. The solution is actually to get your camera around about waist height to your subject. Now I know that sounds really weird and not the right thing to do, but trust me, it will work. So that's what I've done with my camera. I've even put it on a tripod because once this is framed up, I don't think I'm going to need to move it too much. Let's take a shot like this. Here we go, Chloe. And as you can see, the wall now looks vertical and Chloe looks exactly as she should. So now we can sort out the lighting, and this is where it gets interesting, because remember, I'm trying to get an even exposure from the top of Chloe all the way down to her feet. So this is my go-to lighting position. I've got my Flashpoint Evolv300 in a 70cm softbox. It's reasonably close. This is not the best place for the light. Let me show you why. Chloe, we're just going to take a little test shot. Here we go. I've already set the exposure so it's correct for Chloe's face, but by the time we get down to her feet, it's about 2 stops less exposure thanks to the inverse square law or light fall off. To get around the inverse square law light drop off, I could move the light, and that will have another bonus because as I move the light further away, so the spread of light will increase and it'll reach both Chloe's feet and her head with the same light. So this must be an easy fix. Just grab your light and walk it backwards all the way back to the other side of the room. Like that. Okay, well, let's take this shot and see how it looks. Here we go, Chloe. And although that has worked, we have more even light on Chloe, we've lost the softness of the shadows because lights that are further away, well, they appear smaller and therefore the shadows appear much harder. This is a much bigger modifier. It's actually an umbrella, and it is a 60-inch wing-like parabolic umbrella. And this is going to be a great option for the light. I could just bounce the light off the white walls of this studio, but not everybody has one of those. So this is a great alternative. The larger light source means that I can put this further away and not get such hard edge shadows. And of course, that gives me the spread of light that's going to give me even exposure right the way across Chloe. Where to put it? Well, right in front of the camera, not going to be the best place. It'll give very flat lighting. So I'm actually going to put it sort of right here in front of you. And that gives us nice even lighting all the way across Chloe, and those shadows on the wall I actually think are going to work really well. Okay, if everybody's ready, let's take some shots. This is one of those shoots where I'm really glad I'm shooting tethered, because Chloe can see the images on a big screen. She can work out what works, what doesn't work, and adapt her poses as needed. I don't think we're going to beat that. I think we should probably stop there. Healing and cloning things like plug sockets off the wall is really straightforward when you have a nice plain wall, but what if you want to do something a bit more complicated? What if I wanted to increase the size of the wall over to the left-hand side? Now, I could easily clone in the wall and heal in the skirting board, but the perspective of the floor, that's much harder to match. Now, anything you're going to do like this, always do it on its own separate layer. Let's go to Filter, Vanishing Point. The art with this tool is to try and find your perspective. So I'm going to use the, here we go, create a plane tool and click where I can see a definite line in the floor, something like that. And then, well, I can see another line coming down here, which should probably end up about there. So there we go, that's going to be my plane. Now, if you get a blue rectangle, that means you've got it absolutely fine. Yellow, not so good. Red means you really need to do it again. So that's pretty good. I need to zoom out and stretch this across using the middle handle. Always use the middle one so you don't deform your little grid. And I think we're pretty much okay. And that's the hard bit done. You've created a plane. Now all you do is use the clone stamp tool or the healing brush. You can use either by changing it there and just do what you would normally do. So I'll sample from up here somewhere, and then I'm just gonna paint in, heal in, clone in, right there we go. And you'll notice how it maintains the perspective. It kind of works it out for you. It's really clever. There we go, that's that little bit done. Now once I've done that, I might just go over with the healing brush version of the same tool just to create new looking floorboards, and I don't have any obvious blends that way. There we go, that looks pretty good. And I'm kind of happy with that, so I'm going to click OK. And now all I need to do is to extend the skirting board and clone in the wall, and there you go. There's my final picture completed. So guess what? I was absolutely right. I really did have a cold coming on, but I'm fine now. The actual photos came out really well, and that's down to several things. The flash allowed me to freeze the movement, get those sharp shots of Chloe in action. The size of the umbrella gave me soft light, and the fact that I could get it far enough away gave me the spread of light to give me even illumination on a full-length shot from Chloe from her head to her feet. Now, if you've got any questions or you've just enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below. Click on the bell icon and you'll never miss a video right here on Adorama TV, and of course, don't forget to click on the subscribe button. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.